How do I show the date and time at which my data was collected in PASCO Capstone? Traditionally, Capstone has had just one flavor of time. So, for example, if I hit record to collect a second run of data from my wireless temperature sensor, it starts at time 0 and displays time on the x-axis in seconds, which is the elapsed time since I hit record. I'll press stop to end the recording of run number 2. A new option is available for time as of PASCO Capstone version 1.11. I'll click on the x-axis measurement selector, and under the time options, I see the traditional elapsed experiment time and a new option, date and time. When I select date and time, I see that the x-axis changes. What it shows depends on the length of time you've collected data. In this example, it was a short amount of time, so it begins on the far left with the date and shows the clock time. So my first run in blue is to the left, recorded around 5:16 or so, and my second run in orange on the right was recorded at about 5:22 p.m. Now there are a couple handy things to know about the date and time option. So I'm going to open another file, and this is a file that I recorded years ago, well before this option was available in Capstone. The great news, though, is that date timestamps exist even in old Capstone files. On the right, I have a graph of temperature versus time. This shows the temperature of a beaker of water put in the freezer overnight. And by default, traditionally, the x-axis shows time in seconds, but I can go and switch this to date and time. And I can see that this data is way back from 2014, and I can see the time of day, or in this case, night, when the data was collected. One thing that is great about the date time view in the graph is that the tools have been modified to reflect that view. So if, for example, I add a coordinates tool and drop it on the data, notice that it knows to show me the calendar date and time. Similarly, the delta tool will do the same. Date and time is not only available in the graph display. In the table, I can click on my time column and switch it there to see a timestamp at which my temperature data points were collected. We hope you find the new date and time option handy. I think it'll be especially useful for long-term experiments, which are especially easy to do with wireless sensors, since we can log data with things like the wireless temperature sensor and the wireless weather sensor.